want to chat about anything. So the program, Jen and I have been working on this through our 30-day workshop that we did last month. So we did an Ayurvedic 30-day challenge and had a lot of fun with it because this stuff is just so, it seems so common sense to us now that we've been studying it for a while. But at the same time, you can see how in our culture, we'd be distracted by other things also. And so what we're going to focus on is building a foundation for other stuff. So this is a foundational class. We're going to work on the Ayurvedic clock, meaning what time you should go to bed, what time you should eat, what time you should exercise, like optimally to use your body's potential versus deteriorating or breaking your body down. So the idea is to be able to build your body even when you're doing exercise and when you have an off day. Can your body still perform with optimal performance? So some of the things that we look at is how our body is imbalanced. So how do we create imbalances in our body? And that's through environmental toxins and allergens and microbes and holding on to repressed emotions. It's also with having an inconsistent schedule, although some of us don't have much of a choice with that. But the idea is to keep the bookends of your day as consistent as possible. So the beginning of your day, you always start the same, and the end of your day, you always start the same, along with having your noon meal in the middle of the day. So keeping things as consistent as possible, even if you have kind of an odd schedule. So some of us, especially if we teach in the yoga world, we work around other people's schedule to be able to do courses and classes like this. But at the same time, we can still create some sort of structure because we do have the choice in a lot of ways. Inappropriate exercise is also something that we take into consideration. That's one of the later classes. Relationships, we're going to be talking about the immune system and the importance of immunity and the lymphatic system. We're going to just touch a little bit. Also looking at how working against nature, so working against the day-night cycle, the circadian clock, and taking into a little consideration your constitution, but those are for the next course that will follow after this. So we're going to build the foundation of really basic stuff to be able to reduce stress. So some of the things that are involved, we will have a weekly check-in on Mondays. So Monday evenings from 6 until 6:30, you can come and we do a Q&A, something like this, where we just talk about what's going on. Any questions that come up can be taken at that time. It's actually open to everybody. So anybody who wants to join this can ask questions about Ayurveda or yoga or meditation or pranayama, whatever that may be. So that's on Mondays from 6 to 6:30. You can attend, you can participate, you can sit and watch. It's completely your choice. It's to build community and to get to know people, because who knows how much longer this online thing is going to have to happen and what the future is going to hold. So if we start building community and building some sort of connection through things like this versus trying to figure it out other ways or staying at home alone or being alone. So this is a great way to do that. Each week we have a different focus. If you go to the website, you'll go to the membership portion of it and then scroll down. I believe you're signed in already. Everybody seems to be signed in that's been checking into classes. So you want to make sure that you go down to the programs and then choose the program, and you'll be able to have access to that. I make sure that everything's been changed. So when you got the email today or yesterday, it has all the links on there. You can do that. That's for the live version. If you go onto the website, so if you choose the program, so the Foundations program, then you have all of the recordings too. So this recording will be on there, and then every recording will be put on there within about 48 hours. Takes me a little time to get it spliced off at the ends, and then also to be able to get it re-uploaded again seems to take the longest. So the first upload just takes a little bit, second upload takes a little bit longer to get it on YouTube and then get it on the website. So I'll get those up as soon as possible. And then we go into the different programs. So next week we'll start with why stress management affects us and how our hormones work. So not just talking about female hormones or testosterone, progesterone, estrogen, talking about the stress hormones, so the sex hormones versus the stress hormones, and how they're influenced by stress and what stress is. And then the same evening, I will have a lecture on immunity. So focusing on our immune system and what our immune system actually is and how our immune system and lymphatic system play a huge role in our hormones, in our digestive system, in our mental clarity, and also, of course, our immunity. Jenna will talk about meditation. She's got 2 classes. She's got one on the 14th and one on the 28th talking about meditation. We will also have recorded meditations and yoga practices that will be in the bonus material if you scroll all the way down to the bottom on the website. So you'll be able to have access to those. The following week, so week 2, we'll focus on what the day-night cycle means. So what is circadian science? What does it mean to connect with nature and follow nature's laws to be healthy and well? The one that follows that, so there's 2 every night. There's one at 6 o'clock and then one that starts at 6:30. So the lectures will be about 15 to 20 minutes long. Depends on how winded I get that day or how passionate I get. And then the Catching Z's will be the evening one, so the later one on the 2nd week. We'll talk about sleep and the sleep cycle and how that's important and how that plays a part in our detoxification process. The 3rd week, we will talk about how to exercise and what exercise means and the ideal times to exercise, and also some of the ideal exercises to be able to do. And that consistency is far more important than how hard you work out. And then we go to the actual hormones lecture. So we will talk about the hormonal structure, estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and then how stress can affect those. So the first one will be more on how stress exists and what it does. And this one will be a little bit deeper version, talking about the sex and stress hormones, but more so about the sex hormones and how they're influenced and how our society actually has a misconception of what it is. We focus so much on, oh, my hormones are out of balance. All women are, oh, my hormones are out of balance. In reality, it could be blockages in your lymphatic system. So our lymph nodes, our drainage system of our body could be blocking our body's ability to be able to send the right hormones at the right time. And it could all be anchored to sleep. So it's really interesting to see how these things are all woven together and how one layers on top of the other through the weeks. Week 4, we'll talk about nutrition. So Jenna will talk about mindful eating. She'll have the first lecture, and then I'll have the second lecture on meal timing. And so often we focus on what we eat, and what we eat is important, but even more important is what times you eat and when you eat and how often you eat. Our society has put a lot of influence, a lot of focus on eating 5, 6, 7 meals a day. And I will tell you why that's not going to work, and why certain people especially need to focus on eating at very, very specific times and keep a really tight schedule on it. And it's important, and we will talk in depth about that. And then we get into the bonus material. So there's a AM and PM yoga class that'll be about 15 minutes long. So they're just short little testers to be able to fit it in your schedule. What we wanted to happen with this is we want to be able to offer things that people could put in the beginning of their day and end of the day to be able to create those bookends. Meditation, there's an AM and PM meditation that's about 8 to 10 minutes long. I will add a yoga nidra on there. And then the final week on October 7th, we'll talk about what the next steps are and the options there. So that's what we're going to do. And it's going to be super exciting. So I've been studying Ayurveda for about 10 years. And through the last 6 months, for various reasons, because we're home more and my life has changed significantly, I have really completely immersed myself into the practice and the study, even more so than when I was in school. Because in school, you go take classes. So I fly out to the East Coast, I take my classes, I come back to Minnesota, I study, I do the homework and stuff. And I've been able to apply it over the last 10 years in bits and pieces. But now my life is very easy to be able to structure a very specific and mindful practice daily. So it's been kind of a blessing in disguise with all the changes that have happened. But even if your schedule is a little odd, there are ways to be able to work around it. And that's part of what I do with my clients is we work on the general. So I like people to take these foundation classes because you still need to learn the basics. You need to scrape your tongue in the morning, you drink lemon water in the morning. Before you go to bed, it's nice to say a little gratitude or write down a gratitude journal. So there's really, really basic stuff. And then there's the more elaborate stuff where we say, okay, this is more your lymphatic system, or this is going into your hormone system, or your digestive system needs this. And we look at that in more depth later on. But do you have any questions? No? Jenna, do you have anything to add?
Sorry, I just put an apple piece in my mouth. No, but I'm really looking forward to doing this again. It was really fun the first time around, and I'm really happy to teach more basics about mindful eating since I learned so much more about it since the last time. So I'm super excited about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes, and we'll have a few other programs that will bounce off of this, but I want you to get familiar with the basics again. And of course, if you have any questions, please ask questions. Okay, so this chart over here is what we're going to be doing this stuff based on. So this, Meg said it was a pie chart. It's exactly what it is. It looks like a pie chart, right? So we have the Ayurvedic clock here, noon, midnight, and then the numbers respectively, 6 p.m., 6 a.m. And then in here, we have the different constitutions. And we won't discuss the constitutions in much depth. I may sling the lingo a little bit just out of habit, but there'll be more in-depth programs on the constitutions and what they mean and what your constitution and what that means with nature, with time of day and how that plays a part. So I'll use the terminology a little bit, but if you want to learn a bit more about Ayurveda, if you go into the free membership portion, the free membership portion has the Ayurvedic lecture, and it's about a 45-minute lecture on the basics of Ayurveda. So if you want to get a little taste of what all of this means, that's a good way to start. But these different segments will tell us when is the appropriate time to be able to do things because of the quality of each constitution of each time of day. And with Ayurveda, we focus on time of day. So we have the time of day here, and then we have this time of year and the time of life. And they all play a part in how our body's functions are going to work. So that was a great question. Thank you. Any other questions?